The story begins with a 19-year-old boy named Alex. The police were taking him to jail for a theft case. Alex had been sentenced to 6 months, but serving 6 months in the prison he was being sent to was an extremely daunting challenge. The prison was extremely dangerous, and weak or newly arrived inmates were subjected to terrible abuse. Upon arrival, Alex was thoroughly searched and then escorted toward his cell. Along the way, every inmate stared at him with wide eyes. Seeing this, Alex became very frightened. The guards then brought him to his cell, where another boy of Alex's age was already there, looking extremely scared. Alex tried to talk to him, but the boy did not respond. Seeing this, Alex felt completely confused. Somehow, Alex survived his first night in prison. The next day, he learned why the boy was so anxious and fearful. Alex saw 3 terrifying inmates taking the boy with them, and every day they forced him to do very bad things. That was why the boy constantly trembled with fear. Seeing this, Alex became very scared as well, because he was the same age and shared the same cell. Now, Alex started feeling fear too. But when those 3 inmates were taking the boy upstairs, Alex noticed a huge, tall, broad-shouldered inmate walking past them. As soon as they saw him, the 3 quickly moved aside and let him pass. Alex realized that this was Brandon, the person everyone in the prison feared. Alex understood that if he wanted to survive in this prison, he would have to align himself with Brandon. At that time, Brandon was playing chess with his companions. Then Alex went up to him and said that he was about to lose. Hearing this, Brandon became angry and said to Alex, "Come on, try to beat me." Alex stepped forward and, in just one move, defeated Brandon. Brandon was astonished. Afterward, Alex returned to his cell. The boy who shared the cell was sharpening a knife. Seeing this, Alex asked him why he was doing it. The boy replied that he was exhausted from enduring their filthy acts every day, and that he intended to kill them. The next day, when the 3 inmates came to take the boy again, Alex cleverly got into a fight with him on purpose. He did this so that the guards would come, allowing the boy to escape the clutches of the other inmates. And indeed, it worked. The guards, seeing the 2 fighting, came and separated them, putting them in different cells. Because of Alex's clever plan, the boy survived, and the 3 inmates returned empty-handed that day. Brandon had been watching all of this and was deeply impressed by Alex's intelligence. A few days later, Alex was released from the cell. Brandon came to him and advised that he should first take care of himself before thinking about others and should never get involved in unnecessary conflicts in the prison. Shortly afterward, Alex saw the boy being harassed again and taken by the inmates to do terrible things. Unable to endure the abuse, the boy cut his own throat in his cell. Seeing this, Alex was terrified. The next day, the 3 inmates pursued Alex. Somehow, he managed to defend himself and returned safely to his cell. Once inside, he began sharpening his toothbrush, preparing to attack the inmates if they came. A little later, when Alex went to the washroom, the 3 inmates followed him, finding him alone. Just as they were about to catch him, Brandon appeared. Brandon saved Alex from their hands and took him to his room. Seeing Brandon, the 3 inmates reluctantly left the place. Brandon explained to Alex that he wouldn't be able to defend himself against those men on his own, but as long as Alex stayed there, no one would dare to lay a hand on him in Brandon's presence. However, in return, Alex would have to do a task for Brandon. Brandon said that he wanted to escape from the prison, and Alex could help him with the escape. He further explained that 6 months later, when Alex would be released, he would have to complete an unfinished task for Brandon. Then Brandon laid out the entire, extremely risky escape plan to Alex. Alex thought carefully about it, knowing the dangers involved. Brandon said, "Today I saved you, but I can't save you every day. But if you do as I say, I guarantee no one in this prison will dare to come near you." In the end, Alex agreed to follow Brandon's instructions. The next day, the same inmates pursued Alex again. They cornered him in the bathroom, intending to do terrible things. At that moment, Brandon arrived with his companions. They caught the 3 inmates and began beating them. But that day, one of the inmates dared to glare at Brandon. Seeing this, Brandon became furious and signaled his companions. Together, Brandon and his men grabbed the inmate and threw him off the roof. The inmate died from the fall. Witnessing this, all the other prisoners trembled with fear, and after that, no one dared to come near Alex again. Days passed this way, and finally, the day came when Alex was released from prison. Immediately after leaving, following Brandon's plan, Alex went to a gangster named Mark and handed him a letter written by Brandon. After reading the letter, Mark silently handed over a suitcase and a set of house keys. Mark also sent one of his men with Alex, named Josh. Alex didn't like Josh at all. When Alex reached the house, he saw that it was extremely luxurious and located by the sea. Alex opened the suitcase Mark had given him and found a mobile phone, multiple passports belonging to Brandon, and a gun. While Alex was examining these items, there was a loud knock at the door. When Alex opened the door, a girl was standing there. Her name was Natasha. She came inside and handed Alex some money and a mobile phone. Seeing this, Alex asked her, "What am I supposed to do with these?" The girl then tells Alex that everything he needs to do next will be communicated through that phone. After saying this, she leaves. The next day, according to the plan, Alex goes to meet a man. The man shows Alex a collection of extremely dangerous weapons, leaving Alex completely stunned. After that, the man takes Alex to an open field, where he puts a gun in Alex's hands and trains him to shoot. Following Brandon's plan, Alex goes to a private airline tour company and books a helicopter. Alex places his bag inside the helicopter. Once the helicopter rises high into the air, Alex pulls out a weapon from the bag, points it at the pilot, and says, "Take me exactly where I tell you to." He orders the pilot to fly toward the prison where Brandon is being held. Meanwhile, Brandon receives advance information that Alex is coming to rescue him by helicopter. As planned, Brandon deliberately starts a fight with one of his own companions. Seeing this, the guards rush in to stop them. At that exact moment, Brandon grabs one guard, holds a knife to his throat, and drags him toward the door, ordering the other guard to open it. Brandon threatens, "If you don't open the door, I'll kill him." The guard opens the door. Alex arrives there in the helicopter and begins firing at the prison guards. Seizing the opportunity, Brandon and his companions rush onto the helicopter and continue shooting at the guards from above. They escape far away from the prison. After traveling some distance, they land the helicopter, change their clothes, get into a car, and flee quickly from the area. After that, they head straight to Mark. Mark was very happy to see Brandon free. He then told Brandon about a huge heist they were planning together, a plan to steal gold from a gold mine. After that, everyone got busy working on the detailed preparations for the heist. Meanwhile, outside by the swimming pool, Alex sees Natasha. Seeing her, Alex immediately walks over and starts talking to her. But Josh, who had always hated Alex and liked Natasha, could not tolerate Alex approaching her. He pushes Alex into the pool. Alex didn't know how to swim and began to sink. Natasha immediately jumps into the water and saves him. Everyone watching bursts into laughter because someone so grown up didn't even know how to swim. Alex feels embarrassed and leaves the scene. As Alex was walking down the street, Natasha arrives in a luxurious car, picks him up, and takes him to a restaurant. There, the two of them talk for a long time. Gradually, Alex begins to like Natasha. Natasha asks Alex, "How did you get involved with these people?" In response, Alex says nothing at first, and then turns the question back to her. "Forget about me. How did you get involved with them?" Natasha says that she is an immigrant. She desperately needs money, and after this final heist, she plans to leave the country. That night, when Alex returns home, Brandon is very angry with him. He warns Alex never to go anywhere without informing him again. He also tells Alex to stay away from Natasha, saying that she is distracting him. After that, Brandon takes Alex to a gold mine. Pointing toward a building, Brandon tells Alex that he will have to go inside and take control of the emergency alarm, making sure that no one is able to activate it. Brandon then visits an old friend of his who used to be a professional car racer. To ensure a fast escape after the robbery, Brandon recruits him into the team. With that, the entire team becomes fully prepared for the gold heist. Using a map, Brandon explains the entire plan to everyone. Later, Alex goes outside and enters a bar, where Natasha is also present. Alex sees a few men behaving badly toward Natasha. Enraged, Alex steps in, pulls out a gun, and scares the men away. This greatly impresses Natasha. Afterward, Natasha takes Alex to the seaside. She steps into the ocean and calls Alex to join her. But Alex says that he doesn't know how to swim and is very afraid of water. Natasha encourages him and says that if he truly loves her, he should come to her. Gathering his courage, Alex walks toward Natasha. She gives Alex her necklace and tells him that she doesn't want to lose him during this mission. After the heist is over, the two of them will leave this place together. Finally, the day arrives. Everyone begins preparing for the robbery and puts on security guard uniforms so that the real guards will mistake them for employees. And that is exactly what happens. As soon as they entered, Brandon told Alex, "Go through the ventilation shaft to the control room, disable all the CCTV cameras, and then unlock all the doors." Alex followed Brandon's instructions, went through the ventilation system, and successfully disabled all the cameras. Then Alex put on a mask and went down to the control room. He aimed a gun at an employee and ordered him to open the door. As soon as the door opened, the rest of Brandon's team rushed inside. They gathered all the guards and employees in one place. Brandon then told Josh, "I'm going to melt the gold. You keep an eye on the guards and employees here." But Josh, who was actually Mark's man rather than Brandon's, got angry at the order and, for fun, shot one of the employees' legs. When Brandon asked why, Josh replied, "Just for fun, that's all." Hearing this, Brandon became furious. He struck Josh forcefully in the face with the back of his gun, seriously injuring him and causing him to fall backward. Brandon then assigned an employee to work on melting the gold. Shortly after, the employee produced 3 large gold plates, which they let cool and then packed into bags. As they were preparing to leave, they realized that the police had surrounded the area from all sides. Everyone panicked, but Brandon quickly came up with a plan, telling everyone to put on the employee uniforms again. They then went outside with a few employees, making it impossible for the police to tell who was a worker and who was a thief. At that moment, Brandon and his team began firing at the police. Soon after, Brandon's sports car driver friend arrived at full speed. One by one, everyone jumped into the car, and they began their escape. The police continued shooting. One of the bullets struck Brandon's driver friend, killing him. Despite the loss, they managed to get far away. Later, they hid the car inside a truck and drove it to a safe location, where Mark was already waiting for them. Mark was responsible for selling the gold, and the plan was to split the money equally among everyone. But after receiving the gold, Mark suddenly started acting strangely. He became angry at Brandon and asked, "Why did you kill Josh?" Brandon then tells him that Josh had fired the gun, which is why the police were tipped off. Hearing this, Mark says nothing else and quietly leaves with the gold. Meanwhile, Natasha was waiting for Alex. Just then, there was a loud knock at the door. When she opened it, one of Mark's men barged in. He told Natasha, "You're trying to escape, and Mark sent me to kill you." With that, he attacked her. The man almost killed Natasha, but she somehow managed to free herself and escape. She immediately called Alex to warn him that Mark intended to keep all the gold for himself and kill everyone else. Natasha cautioned Alex that the police would soon come for him and that under no circumstances should he go to the house. Alex immediately informs Brandon. Brandon stops his car a little away from his house. Soon after, police cars arrive in front of Brandon's house and surround it from all sides. Brandon then calls Mark and asks him why he is doing all this, but Mark refuses to even acknowledge Brandon. Enraged by this, Brandon becomes furious. After that, everyone goes to Natasha. There, they sit together and start planning how to get their share of the gold back from Mark. Brandon realizes where Mark is going to make the gold deal. They plan to intercept him and take the gold back at that exact location. To pull off the entire operation, they need money. Brandon then takes Alex to a cemetery. There, they dig a hole and retrieve a bag filled with cash. Brandon explains that they will head to Melbourne because that is where Mark will come to sell the gold. The 3 of them then set off for Melbourne. Upon arrival, they go to a bar. While there, they see the news on TV and are shocked. Brandon and Alex's photos are being shown in connection with the gold heist. But a question crosses Brandon's mind. Josh was with them during the robbery, so why isn't his photo shown? At that moment, Brandon realizes that this is all Mark's doing. Brandon then calls someone over and uses some money to find out Mark's exact location. Meanwhile, Natasha is outside, bringing food for Brandon and Alex, but she doesn't realize that someone is following her. When Natasha enters the room, she overhears a conversation between Brandon and Alex. Brandon is telling Alex that he should stay away from Natasha because she is distracting him from the mission. Brandon instructs Alex to give Natasha some money and keep her away. Hearing this, Natasha becomes angry and hurt. She quietly leaves. Seeing Natasha go, Alex realizes that she overheard everything. He immediately runs after her. Alex catches up to Natasha and reassures her, "What you overheard isn't true. I'll stay with you until the day I die." Meanwhile, Brandon is shown at a hotel. A man points a gun at him and says, "Mark sent me to kill you." Brandon replies, "Mark gave you money to kill me. I'll give you double." He then explains the entire plan to steal the gold from Mark. Tempted by greed, the man joins Brandon and reveals Mark's location. The next day, they go to the place where Mark was supposed to make the gold deal, but Mark doesn't show up. Instead, he sends Josh. Brandon and his team launch an attack there. They capture Josh and bring him to their hideout, beating him severely. Yet, Josh still refuses to speak. Brandon locks Josh in a freezer for an hour. After that, Josh finally reveals the location of the gold. Once they have the gold, they know Mark will never let them go easily. So Brandon and Alex go straight to confront Mark. Upon seeing the 2 of them, Mark is terrified. Brandon shoots Mark, finishing him off. They realize that the police are searching for them from all sides, so they begin their escape from the city using a board as cover. Along the way, Brandon points a gun at Alex and orders him into a boat. Brandon tells Alex, "I've got the gold. I don't need you anymore." But Alex laughs and replies, "What gold? Did you even check the suitcase to see if it really contains gold?" Hearing this, Brandon hurriedly goes to the cabin on the board and opens the suitcase, only to find iron plates instead of gold. Seeing this, Brandon becomes furious. He returns and points his gun at Alex, shouting, "How did you do this?" Alex calmly replies, "I coordinated this with Natasha. When we went to confront Mark, I gave Natasha the key to that room. She took the gold from under your bed and replaced it with iron plates." Alex then calls Brandon. Natasha answers the phone and says, "If you harm Alex in any way, I'll report you to the police and you'll get caught." Hearing this, Brandon angrily throws Alex into the water, but then realizes that Alex cannot swim. He pulls Alex out, places him on the board, and says, "The gold is all yours. You could take it and leave if you wanted, but you didn't." Alex responds, "You've helped me so much, so I never wanted to betray you. You'll still get your share of the gold." Alex then leaves Brandon with his promised share of the gold and rows a small boat to shore. He goes straight to Natasha, and they embrace each other. Meanwhile, Brandon is doing laundry when a woman notices his photo in the newspaper. She realizes that the police are looking for him for the gold heist and immediately informs them of his location. Shortly after, the police arrive, capture Brandon, and send him straight to prison. A few days later, Brandon receives a letter. It's from Alex. In the letter, Alex writes, "I've buried your share of the gold in the same cemetery." He also sends a photo of Natasha, who is now pregnant, making it clear that Alex and Natasha are now together. Seeing this, Brandon smiles, and thus, the story comes to an end.